I'm Julie Claycomb. I'm a professor in the Department of Molecular Genetics. I came here by way of education in the United States. I'm actually an American, I started out as. I did my undergrad at the University of Pittsburgh. My grad work was at MIT in Boston. And then I did my postdoctoral training with a guy named Craig Mello at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, who won the Nobel Prize in 2006, which was really cool. After that, I applied for faculty positions all over the place and was just so lucky to land a position here at the University of Toronto, which has been my home of my own research lab since 2011, actually. My lab studies small RNA biology, so we're trying to understand how small RNAs regulate gene expression. And we use these tiny little worms, C. elegans, maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't. You can go out and find them in compost piles all over the place. And they're a really useful tool for understanding how genes can be turned on and off and how that regulates the development of an animal, like a complex organism.
Could you share a current project or study you're excited about?
We study these proteins called argonauts. And so these argonaut proteins are found in all types of organisms. They're from basically bacteria all the way up to humans. And actually recently, they've found that mutations, some specific mutations in these argonaut proteins, lead to neurodevelopmental disorders in humans. And so we're understanding the basic fundamental features of how these argonaut proteins work using this little worm as a model system, because it's way easier than working on humans, of course. And those fundamental principles that we can find from studying argonauts and C. elegans, these worms, can inform how the disease develops and progresses and why humans have these characteristics and develop these neurodevelopmental disorders.
How do you involve undergraduate and graduate students in your research projects?
Students are what it's all about. One of the biggest joys of my job is training the next generation of scientists. And so we always have grad students in the lab. They're fueling the research. They have the ideas, they're doing the experiments. I provide guidance and try to be a cheerleader from time to time and, guide their projects. But really, they're the boots on the ground. They're at the bench. They're the pipettes at the bench. They're doing the job. We always have graduate students in the lab, usually a few master's students, a few PhD students. It's really fun to watch them, mentor them, watch them grow, develop, take ownership over their projects and just blossom. That's one of the best parts of being a professor. Undergraduates, we always have undergrads in the lab too. We love having undergrads. They're such good energy, such good enthusiasm, and they really just want to get in there and figure out how things work. So we have summer projects for undergrads, and then they do their thesis work in the lab, usually during their third or fourth year of their undergrad degree. So always have undergrads, always have grad students. They're the ones that get the job done, really.
How do you envision your research impacting healthcare or medicine in the next 5 to 10 years?
By studying these argonaut proteins, we hope to come up with some fundamental principles that guide our understanding of how stuff works in the cells. And when we know how stuff works, then we can engineer new ways to manipulate that, to change that, and to help, maybe come up with some treatments for these neurodevelopmental disorders. So you never know what you're going to find and how it's going to change the world, really, and make things better for researchers and for medicine and for patients.
Outside of work, what are your hobbies or interests?
What are my hobbies and interests outside of work? Well, there's not a lot of time outside of work, but what I do I grew up on a farm in Pennsylvania, so I love gardening. I have my own little back postage stamp sized Toronto backyard garden, which the raccoons and squirrels also enjoy feasting in. I love to spend time with my 7-year-old son, who may be blessed and doomed to become a scientist himself, because he's really into science and he really loves, talking about science already too. So that's another great thing, spending time with him and my family.
What's something surprising that people might not know about you?
I worked with this Nobel Prize winner, which was a really exciting experience. So having him as a mentor and having that as an experience for some of my training was really a remarkable part of my scientific training and my development. And I think it changed me in really good ways and informed how I want to be as a mentor and things like that. Yeah.
If you could have dinner with any person, past or present, who would it be and why?
of the most amazing women in science would be the most exciting people to speak to over dinner and enjoy a lovely dinner with. Rosalind Franklin would be amazing, Marie Curie, Barbara McClintock, who discovered transposable elements. All of these women who were absolute pioneers of their time and, went up against some really big biases in how science was done and the culture of science at that time.
If you could switch careers for a day, what would you choose and why?
But for me, if I was going to change it up, I think I would own my own small business, and my own small business would either be sort of like a bed and breakfast, like a proper bed and breakfast, not just, Airbnb in it, or have my own like boutique-y sort of restaurant, I think. And yeah, I come from a family who has an ice cream stand that's been in business for over 60 years in Pennsylvania. It was sort of a love letter from my grandfather to my grandmother, and it's been in the family for a really long time. And so I've grown up with farming in my background and seeing this entrepreneurship, and I think that informed me becoming a scientist, but it would also be a catalyst for my change in career if I ever went that direction. But I love doing science, so I'm not going to change.
Backpacking adventure or luxury resort vacation?
Ooh, backpacking adventure probably. But I do hate camping, so I don't know. That's a toss-up for me. I love hiking, but I'd really love to sleep in the luxury resort at the end of the day.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
I can tolerate it, but it's not my go-to.
Dogs or cats?
Cats. I have 3. I'm a crazy cat lady.
Fiction or non-fiction books?
There's a place for both. I'd say fiction is at the top of my list right now, but I really enjoy both.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird. I'm a farmer through and through. It's in my genetics.
Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Summer or winter?
Summer. Absolutely.
Comedy or drama movies?
Comedy. Need a good laugh. The world is tough, so it's good to laugh.
Thank you very much, Julie, for coming in today.
Thanks. It's been a great pleasure to talk with you. I'm happy to be able to do it.